call the meeting to order. Everyone please rise for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silence for our first responders and military who've given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is public comment. And since it's a new year, I just wanted to run down through what's a normal public comment. Please identify yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize. Please identify yourself and state your address or municipality. Comments are restricted by law to items that are or may come before council or that council has authority over. Council welcomes your comments as an important means for you to communicate your concerns to council. Comments are limited to no more than 5 minutes. However, the chair may extend the discussion at their discretion. Time is not transferable. Repetitive or duplicate comments are not permitted. If you bring up an issue not on tonight's agenda that we need to discuss, you may have to wait for it to be added to next month's agenda for discussion, and that's per the Sunshine Law. Please avoid disruptive, threatening, or disparaging behavior. All public comment is addressed to the chair. With that being said, first up is Rose Fire Company. Oh, yes, I apologize. We also have Walt Tilley, our solicitor, and Dave Reisdorf, a council member, who both have leg injuries and are both on the telephone here.
Tell them to stop skiing.
Okay. All right. So the numbers for EMS calls should have hopefully been distributed to everyone in some manner from the council at this point. But to give you some numbers, for this year of 2025, we were alerted to 2,226 calls. It is, looking back, it's interesting to find that it's actually kind of on par with back to 23, give or take about maybe 50 calls. Our number of missed calls has been, or missed meaning that a outside unit, Glen Rock, Stewartstown, Maryland unit had to come in and help us because the ambulance was already busy on another call, has steadily decreased. So we have dropped from 23 to this past year, we dropped almost about 100 calls, and from 24 to 25, we dropped right about a little under 50.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so for the monthly report of December, we had a total of 56 runs, 35 of them being calls for fire, 18 of them for EMS assist, and 4 fire police calls, zero duty officer responses. That was bringing the year 2025 to an end with a total amount of calls of 595 calls. That is 16 calls higher than 2024 and 66 calls higher than 2023. I'm also happy to announce that we had $0 in fire loss for New Freedom Borough 2025.
That's very cool. Thank you.
So the apparatus committee, like I stated last month, is still looking to meet with the sales representative this month in regards to some graphic design stuff for the new ladder truck coming in. And they did give us an update that the ladder truck is now 6 months ahead of schedule. So we're looking to receive it right around May of 2028 instead of December of 28. And in final, we had one new member who had joined the department last meeting who currently carries fire certifications and qualifications already and seems to be very eager in serving the community and surrounding areas with us. So, any questions for us?
Thank you. All right. Thank you
guys.
very much. There's no one else other than our interviews. I'll open up for a public comment from the floor. Okay, I See none. Southern York County Regional Recreation Commission candidate interviews. Mike Russell. Okay.
There are others that,
Yes.
yeah, they were all asked to attend if they were available. Some were not available, so.
Raise your hand if you're here for. Come up and. Oh, sorry.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Janelle Yankoviak.
Want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I've lived in New Freedom my whole life, and I'm very involved in the community. I'm the field hockey director of the SYC Youth Field Hockey right now. I am the high school tennis representative for the high school tennis team. My oldest plays tennis. I've been involved with the PTO and a PTO officer for local schools for the last 7 or 8 years. And I live here. Like I said, I have 3 daughters. They range from 4 to 17, so a wide range. And I'm just looking to help the recreational, looking for activities for the younger kids to do stuff as well as the adults. And my oldest, who's 17, always says there's nothing to do here. So just to look for opportunities for them to maybe get together with friends or even adults to meet new people. And my husband and I own two businesses. One, we actually put on youth ice hockey tournaments at the Ocean City, Maryland, and we've been doing that for 12 years. So I'm very good at putting on events and organization. I went to York College. I graduated in 2010, and I have an MBA in finance.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure what else. If you have any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who is here wants to speak? Okay. Thank you. That closes public comment. We're going to move on to approval of minutes for the regular meeting held December 8th and the organizational meeting held January 5th. I would entertain a motion for the December 8th meeting.
Make a motion for the approval of the December 8th, 2025 meeting, organizational meeting.
I'll second.
Actually, I'm sorry, that was the regular meeting. I apologize.
Yes,
December.
regular meeting.
Yes.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. I vote is aye. Entertain a motion for the organizational meeting from January 5th.
Make a motion for the organizational meeting from January 5th, 2026.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Treasurer's report is delayed.
Yeah, we're still waiting on those bank statements from Pliget, so once we have those finalized, we'll be able to close out all the accounts and then close out the December report. So we'll provide that in the interim between January and February, and then have it on the agenda for February's meeting. And obviously we'll have January by that point as well.
Thank you. Okay, unfinished business, Paul Smith Library. I have no updates, and so I think we just have to wait until we hear back from them before we take any action on that. Anything else?
Are they just in limbo then?
No, they're in negotiations with our county library system to become a, to become a branch library. So that it was felt that that was their only alternative, and So they're moving in that direction. One of the things we've asked them to do is come up with a method that the money, any money that would come from municipalities, all of our municipalities, not just New Freedom, would make sure that it would stay with Southern York County and not leak out somewhere else.
Are they officially now
I think they're
a
in,
non-local?
they're in negotiations.
Okay,
So I don't know if there's anything that's, they were supposed to have it done by January, but I don't think that they finished.
January 31st or?
It was supposed to be like the 1st of January,
Right.
so we're just waiting for a response. Consider,
Just on that point, just so you know, it would not be unusual for someone, like an organization like this, to reach an agreement and then make it retroactive to January 1. And that would make it easier, for example, for county funding and things like that to track it on an annual basis. So I think it's appropriate that, you folks wait to see exactly how that shakes out before you make any decisions one way or another.
yeah, and again, our contribution would be an annual contribution, and we would make that retroactive to the rest of the year, so. Consider approval of the 2026 Southern Regional Police Department budget. We have the top level summary statement that was just passed out. This represents a lot of work, and it's, the total income increase was 8.96%, and New Freedom went from, I think it was 13-something%, and it's down to 9.42%.
We're still waiting for the commercial insurance to come, so it could even go down a little bit more.
Mhm.
Hasn't been received yet.
What percentage did they put in?
I think it was an 18% increase. The last, but I don't know, we've had, like this, we're on the 7th iteration, so I'm not sure that that's still valid.
That was the health insurance.
Right.
So this, there wasn't a percentage of
Okay, just, nothing was penciled in just for the budget?
This is below our placeholder of
it.
$895,000.
So we already came in under about 30,000 under what we budgeted. Make a motion to pass the Southern Regional 2026 budget.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Discussion on council meeting packets. I think, one of the things that we used to do was we had a consent agenda, which included things like minutes and the treasurer's report, and it was passed by consent, unless, of course, there was a problem or question, which we could then bring up. So that's one item. We want to put together tonight what we could possibly do with the budget, with the agenda, or do we want to come up with ideas and funnel them to Andrew and talk about it at our next meeting?
I think ideas and talk about it at the next meeting, but that was one of the things that I was going to say was the unanimous consent to get that going. And then at the end, when we have all of the committees, I would say, like, don't list any committees unless a committee has something to say, and that committee needs to get it to Andrew the week prior to the meeting.
I agree 100%. In fact, we've already, I asked Andrew to put committees, if any, and basically it's exception reporting. If you have nothing to report, there's no sense in giving us a long-winded update. We could just say there's nothing to report, or just not raise your hand whenever we ask for committee reports.
As well as, solicitor, manager, president, mayor. If they don't have a report, don't have it on the agenda.
I think I would assume it would still stay on the agenda, because there are things that come up, but you can just say nothing to report. Like I said.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah,
because
it would
things
just
do
be-
come up and within a week.
That way you just say nothing to report and you move on. Takes you 2 seconds. I agree with that too. So why don't we start with those suggestions and then funnel any other suggestions that we have to Andrew for discussion at next meeting. So we already have the consent agenda, exception reporting by committees, and exception reporting for solicitor, president, and mayor. Sound good?
We had a consent agenda previous. Why did we do away with that? I mean, it takes, what, a couple of minutes?
I'm not sure why we did. I really can't remember.
It was,
Huh?
if the complaint that council and the office received that it wasn't transparent. So we broke everything, and this is right after I started, we broke everything out in the agenda. That was the treasurer's report, the minutes, because of the complaints of not being transparent enough. I mean, the information was still there, but that's why it was separated out.
Well, we don't read the minutes.
Right.
I mean, so, I mean,
It takes 5 minutes to go through the whole thing.
yeah. I think,
I'm just telling you the reason why
I
it was changed.
understand.
yeah, I understand.
I'm just saying I like to have as much information as I can, and I think the public does too.
Well, you'll still have the minutes in your packet. We're just not going to vote on each individual thing. We're going to, like, let's say tonight we have two minutes and a treasurer's report. And if the treasurer's report were here, those would all be consent agenda items. And if nobody has any questions on it, they're still available for the public. The public can still ask questions. We can still ask questions. But if we don't have any questions, why have it on there and go through it? You know, we sit here like this. You know.
We're not taking three separate votes.
Right.
Yeah.
Which takes a whole 30 seconds.
Well, we're trying to expedite, so let's save the 30 seconds for something more important.
Try to minimize the 3-hour meetings.
Sorry?
Try to minimize the 3-hour meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does this also encompass the things that are included in the packet, like the pictures of things? Or is that going to be something different, like the pictures you'll have of a generator? Because when I was out there, I would see these colored pictures of a generator that Andrew had to do, and I'd be like, God, that's probably 10 cents a sheet. Plus the time that it takes you to do that.
Right, yeah, that's kind of, I've already, with the January packet, tonight's packet, tried to tone it down a little bit,
Yeah.
pull some of that information out, and again, I think that's kind of that exception reporting. If everything's normal, everything's normal. If there's something outside of the norm, outside of the boundaries, then that's what would be included. And I I don't know if that even goes into your monthly reports from water and wastewater. I mean, if everything's operating as it should, do we really want to burden them with creating those monthly reports? And it's council's determination on that.
I think the monthly reports are important, but when I was divvying out all of my papers and stuff, the engineering stack was huge.
As far as like payment applications and things?
Payment applications, their reports are sometimes 2 and 3 pages. And I mean, I review them, but I don't know necessarily that if those specifically were just in the digital packet and not printed. I don't know that I utilize them, you know, for meetings per se, like I utilize other things, you know, like code enforcement and things like that. I utilize those more than looking at a payment request or.
Payment actually just needs to be, is the work completed, are the punch cards complete of any outstanding items, and then, you know, has the engineer approved the work? Those 3 questions, once they're answered affirmative, then payment is given.
Yeah, well, some of those engineering things are like 7, 8, 9 pages of.
Really, that can be an exception too.
You know.
Like, there's 2 items left to be done, so we're gonna wait to pay this, you know, we're gonna hold the retainer back or whatever. So that would be a good item for an exception.
You almost made a suggestion that we keep things digital just to save paper,
Some.
print out the
Some,
important
because I think some items are utilized more in the packet than others. And I don't necessarily think that the engineering things, although relative and absolutely look over them, I don't know that I really utilize them and need to have it on paper in a packet. Having it in digital form in the packet that gets sent to us before the meeting, I think that's sufficient for the engineering.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
in addition to maybe some other things, pictures of violations, things like that. We don't necessarily have to print those out, but it's nice to see what you're referring to if there's an infraction or somebody is given a.
I didn't like this month.
I was trying.
Yeah, and it goes back to also the, what is it, the permits and things, you know, that's a couple pages. I look at that, but I don't know that that's, I think the violations are more relevant knowing what's going on within our borough.
I still would want to see the permits on the digital copy. though.
Oh, absolutely, yes, digital, but just not printed out in here. Yeah, it'd definitely be at our disposal to look at it in digital form, but having it printed, yeah, that's.
Are we at the stage where we go back to talking about getting our tablets that would be, each person would have the same information on, or don't we need to do that?
I'm against that, because I think the way we receive it in our emails is fine, and if we're looking to cut costs, and this needs to be the year to cut costs, I don't think having an expenditure of several $1,000s to get all of us a tablet, when we all have
Yeah.
devices ourselves, I don't think that's a good use of taxpayer money.
Correct. I agree.
I'd agree.
I got mine. I needed it. I wanted it. I got it.
Well, you brought your laptop. I think I might start doing that.
Yeah, it's great.
If we're gonna have more things digitally. Do we all have a laptop?
We can bring them to the meetings, right?
Yeah,
Because that's what I'm doing now, it's perfect.
yeah, okay.
So a question for the solicitor, having borough business on a personal laptop, is that any issue anywhere?
Well,
Yes.
Mike asked if there's any issue with using a personal laptop for council business.
The reason that people use municipal issue is because if there is a challenge, particularly under the Sunshine Act, they like to have their personal and their municipal files and everything separated. That's why, for example, you will use your New Freedom Borough email account for all New Freedom Borough business, and no one can, look at your personal email account. And likewise with a computer, if you use your own computer and someone says, well, I want to see all of the borough business on that computer, would mean that the borough would have to take your personal computer and do a search and then download the documents. Even if you keep it in a separate folder, that search, your computer would still be subject to search. So it would be that kind of protection that would apply to, using a borough-issued laptop or a borough-issued tablet.
Isn't a large part of that making sure that all of your borough business is going to your borough email account?
Yes.
That's correct. That is an essential protection.
But if I have, well, a folder that says New Freedom Borough Business,
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
that
It's
still
not good
doesn't.
enough. They would still have to search the whole computer.
There are I've been involved personally with clients who have had their personal computer searched, even though they did have a segregated folder. Now, what actually happened was that a third party that we hired to do the search went to the personal computer and said, well, that's the only place that there are any borough business or municipal business on the computer, and we just downloaded that folder. But nevertheless, it's uncomfortable, I think, to give your computer to someone to verify that that's where all the information is.
Okay.
It's also, I mean, just to put it in perspective though, and getting kind of to Erica's point that, you know, there's a cost to all of this. These lawsuits are relatively rare, and it is a third party. It's not like the opposing party that gets your computer. It's a third party that is either appointed by the court or agreed to by the parties that downloads, you know, that does the search and downloads the information that's on the computer and verifies it. So there is that protection there. So, you know, it's a balance, you know, of cost versus privacy, and the level of privacy that you feel most comfortable with.
Let me ask you another question, Walt. Most of us keep like a Gmail account or an email account on our phones. Aren't you saying then that they could go through our entire phones and break out anything that is Borough?
I don't worry about email accounts, whether it's Gmail, Yahoo, or whatever. If you're using only a municipal email to receive and send emails related to the borough business, then we would just go directly to the email account and bypass either your personal computer or your cell phone. It's only if you store documents and things on your phone or on your personal computer that those would be subject to search.
Okay.
None of us have borough email, do we?
We all did.
We all do.
No, not maintained by the Freedom Borough website, other than the mayor, the manager. Everybody else has their own personal account.
Designated email.
But it's through the borough.
But it's through the
correct?
Business.
It's not-
You should
it's
have
not
a new
through the
Freedom Borough, right? I thought.
No, we wanted to set that up as part of getting devices for everyone, and then that never materialized because we didn't want to get devices.
You're the only one with the borough website outside of Andrew.
Oh, I thought
Everybody
everybody
else
had the,
has a Gmail, AOL, whatever.
Gmail.
yeah. Well, I have my own Gmail account that I only use for Borough
Right, yeah,
business,
that's-
plus I have one through the Borough. I have two different ones, really
But you
three.
can save
Yeah,
that.
mine is a Gmail account. It's Andy Bobby, New Freedom Borough at Gmail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
But you can save documents in folders in your email. You don't have to save them to your dedicated device.
Right.
So,
I do suggest that if you do not have a segregated email account, that's borough issued, that you create your own segregated email account that's used only for borough business, and give that email address to Manager Schaefer, so that all the communication goes to that particular email account, and that would protect you.
Any other questions? Any other paper saving ideas? Why don't we take this next period to get stuff to Andrew, what our suggestions are, and then we can come up with a final one at the next meeting, just leave it on the agenda. Fair enough? De-escalation policy, we're gonna move that to the executive session at the end of the meeting. 1 East Franklin Street, further action.
Yeah. So I had asked for an agenda item. We talked about it over the last couple months. And I want the solicitor to weigh in. We're making this motion correctly. So I'll make the motion, and then I have a couple other additional comments. But I'll make a motion that borough staff and solicitor pursue eminent domain for 1 East Franklin Street.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for the solicitor to pursue eminent domain for 1 East Franklin Street. Discussion?
So, as we've talked about in the past, this property was praised negatively. I think everybody probably knows that the council as a whole tried to, or approved borough staff to attempt to enter into a real estate agreement with the owner of the property, 1 East Franklin Street, better known as Lamont's. The individual not willing to negotiate, work with the borough, anything else like that. So doing something like this, as far as eminent domain, I don't take that lightly. I don't like that. But the building has been empty for more years than most people can think of. There's been no improvements made to it because it's condemned. It's a safety issue, it's an eyesore, it's a whole host of things, but I think the borough or council as a whole has done what we can, and if the individual is not willing to work, then I feel as though the borough has a responsibility. So I guess that's really what I have to say. I don't take this lightly, I don't like it, but it's not going to change unless...
What would be the intended use?
Well, my understanding through what was sent out from the solicitors, that it has to be for public benefit. So to me, I think the only thing that it really could be used for is a parking lot.
Well, does a parking lot meet the burden for eminent domain?
You know, that's a very good question. I actually tried to find some decision on that issue one way or the other, and I could not find anything in either that said yes or no. It would be, it's clearly permitted if it's associated with another public purpose. For example, you can clearly have a parking lot associated with a public park. So if you take property by eminent domain and put a park in, clearly parking is part of that. The other thing that I'm thinking is, you know, that the eminent domain can be used for a parking garage, I think, because that's a structure, a building that would be for parking. But in the borough code, there's nothing that specifically says that a parking lot is a reason that is a permitted basis to exercise eminent domain. So it's unclear to me how a court would rule on that if the eminent domain were challenged.
I think you hit the nail on the head the first time. I think if you made it into a small parklet kind of a thing for children in that area, and had parking surrounding it so that people could come to the park, I think that would probably be your best bet.
There is a park on
Pocket
the other
park.
side of the tracks from there, isn't there?
Where?
Yeah, that's,
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what, yeah, right. Isn't that a park?
It's a county property.
It's a county property. It's not,
But so is it a county park? I mean, there are park benches, there are trees, there's picnic tables.
we could put up a swing set, a sliding board.
I mean, heritage, it needs parking. Could it be a part of heritage?
Well, I think we would meet the burden trying to meet the burden here. We would meet the burden if we had a parklet with a little bit of equipment for the children and parking for people to come and park. And that parking could actually be additional parking for the county park as well, so that would be fine. I think we could.
I think
we could do
between 7, Vortex, Departure.
that. You can't do that.
No,
You can't have-
I'm just listing businesses. We have so many there.
I know, but you cannot take something by eminent
I'm not
domain to
saying give-
benefit a business.
I'm not saying to give it to them, I'm just listing what's, I understand what you're saying, but
And
I'll leave it alone.
the carnival and New Freedom Fest and the activities that we have.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you said something like, to establish a park, a playground, or a recreation area for the community, and it could even be linked to, for example, providing a place for people to go in conjunction with the shopping and, the other amenities in that area, that could be appropriate. And just so you know, the eminent domain code provides a procedure that we have to follow, which includes developing a resolution. So, which then would articulate, how it would be used and what it would be used for and so forth. So there would be a process for that. What I think we should probably do is perhaps get some sort of an engineered drawing layout plan before we actually exercise the right of eminent domain, so that we have a plan in place that we can show the property owner and the court, if it's challenged, that, look, this is what we're going to do with this location, and we've deemed we need one in that general area. We've deemed this particular place to be the appropriate location for a variety of reasons, one of which is the condition of the building, the other is location, and so on. And then we can use that to construct the basis for public use for the taking. I think there would need to be a step-by-step process, but I think that's what we would do. I think the cost of acquiring would be, because it's been appraised as a negative value, would be nominal, but we would need to plan to invest borough funds in the actual demolition and construction of this facility. So it's not something where we could take it by eminent domain and then do nothing. You would need to prepare a budget for, the actual work that's going to be done once the eminent domain process is completed. So I just want to alert you that there will be like a budget impact and things like that here in order to achieve what you want to achieve.
I'm sorry.
Is there usually a time frame for the solution of this? Like if we were to take it, would we have X amount of years?
Well, we have, following on that line of logic, I mean, we've already found grant money through the county, and Kristen Phillips Hill is on board, and Katie Klunk is on board, and they realize that this is a health and safety issue. It sits right on the rail trail. We have a person who's reported that the basement is full of rodents, and it's really going to end up being I mean, if kids go in there.
There were fires there not long ago.
Fires, everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
So we have the solution more along.
Well, I think that we need to look into the potential. I mean, we've gone through another state budget since that was brought up, so I don't know what would be available. I think we need to find out what would be available, but I don't think it would fall on the New Freedom taxpayers in entirety. It would fall on them to, after the demolition, to go in and plant and get some playground equipment. And again, there's grant money available for playground equipment. So there's a lot of different things that need to be looked at. But Walt is correct. We need to come up with a budget and identify grants that would cover.
I was going to ask if Andrew had done some of that research yet, or government programs for getting rid of dangerous facilities.
Is there property behind the building itself that belongs to that? I know there was a problem with
No.
3 separate lots.
Just really the footprint
The
of
footprint of the building itself.
There are,
Ready to fall down.
yeah,
In
So-
2012, in the borough minutes, it says the Lamont building was looked at and structure is not bad. There's nothing else in the borough minutes after that.
Because we can't get into it to look.
So that's the last reported, structure is not bad. Those are the exact words. Aren't we kind of jumping ahead forward here, not
Who
knowing?
said that it wasn't bad?
That's the official borough minutes.
Yeah, but did
But
it
who
say,
said it?
did it say who?
I'm sorry. Oh,
It doesn't say what company looked at it, it says was looked at and the structure is not bad. That's all I can report was what the official borough minutes said.
That was 14
Chris?
years ago.
14.
I'm not saying it's yesterday, but I'm saying that's the only thing in the borough minutes
Yeah.
about this building.
okay. Chris has the floor.
I can tell you, I was in that building 4 years ago, doing a walk around with the owner, and the center of the building is held up by a 6x6 and a bottle jack. It is not safe. There's huge holes all throughout the floor in that first floor of that building. It is not safe at all. The roof itself is also collapsing. We've set our ladder truck up on that building several times, running scenarios for if something were to happen to that facility. It is not safe. And I believe, well, he just left, but Southern Regional was also there with us 2 years ago to do a search of the building for 3 teenage subjects that went missing, and we found them on the roof of that building, so it was not secure at that time. But I was told it is now, but I can tell you that it wasn't 4 years ago. It was not safe to be in.
And-
What year was it condemned?
2008, that sounds right. I can also point out too that we had a meeting with, and we were all there, I thought, with the current owner, and the current owner said that in order to rehab the building, it would have to be gutted, that he thinks that he could save the brick walls, but the whole thing inside would have to be taken out. And he actually said that he would have to bring in steel to put in to, do you recall this conversation?
I do.
I wasn't
I was there.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
It sounds like millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a fortune, but that would be, if you're talking about, I mean, the statement saying that the building is not bad, I mean, the owner believes that he would have to gut the building, put steel in, and it would cost a fortune to come up with the, I can't even remember what the number was, it was a huge
It'd be
number.
nice to save the facade, because to me, that's so historical to New Freedom, but what would ever occupy it that would be successful long-term? We don't need bars, restaurants. What would be?
Well, I mean, and again, I could only go by what he said at the time. You were there, right? Okay. I didn't dream this, I just want to make sure.
I was there too.
Okay. Anyway, he was talking about possibly making condos, right, or townhomes, or some kind of low-cost, low-income housing. You know, those are the words that came out of his mouth. Yeah, in fact, low-income housing is what he said. So basically, that's what he would do. He'd put steel in, and there would be 3 levels, and he could possibly go higher, but he would definitely need a zoning variation to go higher than what
And I'm
zoning
not
variance.
disputing the accuracy of what people say the building is. I'm just saying, I went through borough minutes and that's the only thing
Yeah.
that shows in there.
Yeah. I don't think that's
And
accurate.
I'm not saying it
I
is
know,
now.
and I think that a large part of it is because the roof was open for so many years that the water came down through. You can imagine however many, like 5 years of rains and snows dripping down through and rotting everything out. I mean, that's what he has right now.
I agree it's a situation. I'm not comfortable with taking a person's property. What about the blighted property?
We've gone through that before, and he threatened
lawsuit against them, they backed off. That was from York County.
Well, we've been through a round of things where he lost, so why can't we pursue that?
Even blighted property would be a taking, right? I mean, it's not, like they wouldn't come in and fix it up for them and hand it
But
back
it's
to
through the
them.
county, isn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of,
Well, this is through the county
Us.
too. They would pay.
this is us, this council is saying take that person's property.
The last conversation that we had with the Blighted Property Review Committee was to try to obtain ownership to avoid this process of eminent domain, which would be the next step. So they've been down that road, and unfortunately, that's just not going to work. If we're able to obtain ownership of the property, there was a statement made about funding opportunities, and that's kind of a discussion that we had, I guess, last year, about the different opportunities that are out there to demolish the building and stabilize the area. But on a side note, just keep in mind, the parcel is only the footprint of that building. So you can't put 20 apartments in there because there's no parking. You can't do anything with the property because there's no parking associated with that property. And that's part of the reason why it's still sitting there.
Yeah, he can't move forward with any of his plans because he just doesn't have, there's no place, if he made it into low-income housing, there'd be no place for the people to park. So it basically is just standing, and I tend to agree. I mean, taking someone's property, I just find abhorrent. I mean, I do. I would not want someone to do that to me. I would not, but I think we've approached him. We've made offers. I mean, we went in with reasonable offers. He came back with, well, I want, I can't remember what the number was, 300,000 or something, yeah. See, you were there too. I knew I wasn't dreaming.
No, I had heard that number.
Yeah. Yeah, but he wanted 300,000, and you have to remember he purchased the property for $25K. So it's not like he's got a huge investment in the property. So because
When we met with him, he said that the property was not vacant because he was using it for storage. Also, I recall that we had an appraisal done that was done in May of 2025, which did report on the condition of the building and indicated the information about the holes in the floors and the roof leaks and things like that. And I recall some discussion of enforcement of the property maintenance code, but I forget where we went with that discussion and what the reason was that we were not pursuing that avenue.
It's already condemned.
yeah, it's already condemned. Where do you go from there?
What about
I
penalizing
would
him
say an injunction to
financially?
require that it be done, and if not, that then typically what happens is a municipality does the work to make the building safe, places a lien against the property, and recoups the money by selling the building.
Oh, but yeah, that's not.
Nobody's gonna wanna buy that. It would cost $1.5 million to even attempt to structurally repair that building for any use.
What about fining
That's what
him
it
for
was, I guess.
non-repair?
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry?
Fining him for non-repair, for his violations.
Well, that's the injunction. I mean, if we put if we filed for an injunction.
Not an injunction, just the property maintenance code.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, repeated violations, we could do that. We could certainly bring.
That's where I am, guys.
Enforcement actions
but-
under the property maintenance code.
If we were to do that, and I'm not trying to go one way or the other, but if we end up, if the borough ends up fining him for not adhering to the property maintenance code, the property's already condemned. What improvements does he need to make so that it's not condemned? And then at what point, we're either fining him for dollars, or you're going to end up taking the property, which is, it's
Not an
monetary.
issue.
Well, how about this?
It's still
Who
money
says we have
either
to
way.
make all the repairs?
I'm sorry?
Who says we have to make all the repairs? Why don't we enforce the property maintenance code, go in and, we'll repair, I don't know, the roof or something for some amount. And then we'll place a lien on it, and then we'll exercise our lien enforcement, so we own the building.
Well, to replace the roof, structurally, the second story has to be completely redone. 20 years ago, that cost was $465,000. What do you think it would be today, 20 years later?
Okay, so we wouldn't do the roof, we do something to control vermin. We would control, do something to repair, something that's gonna be in the range of $5,000 or something like that. Just something that gets us a lien.
And if the lien is not satisfied in a period of time, there's a sheriff's sale, correct?
That's right.
And then somebody buys it and we end up right back where we are today because they buy it for $25,000 again. What's to keep that from
What would
happening?
happen is though that we would just, keep leading, keep enforcing the property maintenance code by placing liens for small amounts of work that are necessary and appropriate to get it into compliance, get the lien, and then bring it, so whoever buys it knows that they're gonna have to repair it because we're gonna keep after them. And so they're gonna pay $25,000 and lose the building.
Can't that be added
Nobody's
in
gonna do
the,
that. Eventually, they're gonna get the idea. So, I think maybe that's the way to pursue it here.
can't that be
That
added?
way, rather than trying to do an eminent domain or something like that, since, there does not seem to be a sentiment on the council for that, maybe the alternative is to try to pursue enforcement of the property maintenance code.
Can conditions of improving the building be included in the real estate documentation when the buyer signs it? That you have to, within so many months, have this, within so many years, it needs to be this?
Can we record something like that, Walt, so that the caveats on the building are recorded legally and follow the real estate?
So that there,
I mean, we'd have to, what would have to be done is there would have to be the property maintenance code enforcement. That's how you would do something.
But in the long run, anybody that buys that building, there's no way that they could possibly use it because, as Andy said, there is no parking for any usage whatsoever.
Okay, so my point though is, let's assume that, I'm assuming that's exactly correct, based on what I've seen and based on the litigation that the current owner brought to try to get more parking. And so what I'm saying is, let's do $5,000 work, get the lien, we'll buy the building at the sheriff's sale. And we'll own it, we can do with it whatever you want.
What if he satisfies the lien?
What if the building is bid up to whatever, $150,000? Someone
Well,
has,
then they'll get it. But my point is that doesn't change our strategy. Because.
But it might start everything all over again.
They're gonna have to bring the building up to code, or we'll go in and we'll begin that process and start it over again. But no one's gonna pay $150,000 if they know that we're gonna put $5,000 worth of work on it and take it from them. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
oh, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
what the, 'cause I don't think Kim's wrong. I think someone could end up buying a pig in a poke and trying to do something with it and realizing, oh, well, I'm probably not gonna be able to do anything with it, and then we just end up back sitting here.
Down the road another 5 years.
Right, exactly, but, I don't, so far, the eminent domain process does not seem to be something that the council is interested in pursuing.
Well,
So you have-
let me ask you this, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what do you think the chances are that you would be able to get an eminent domain through and it would be successful and we would be able to then put the building under a blighted building and have it demolished?
Blighted, no. Demolished, no. I don't think that would be a successful outcome. Demolished for the purpose of installing a park
Yes.
and recreation and play area along the rail trail like that, yes, that would work.
Okay, so you think that that could possibly be successful?
Yes.
Okay. Is
But
anyone-
since you've not been able to find anything about doing it for a parking lot, yay or nay, that doesn't necessarily mean that a court wouldn't agree with us and say, yes, you do need a parking area in that
Okay.
vicinity.
That's neither here nor there.
Well, sure it is.
No, it's not, because parking lots are not normally something that you are allowed to do for eminent domain.
He
That's just a
didn't
fact.
find it either one way or the other.
No, he did. I mean, if you
No, he
read
said
the-
he didn't find one way or the other anything to do with parking lots. Am I right, Walt?
Just to clarify that legal point, if I were the council investing money in an eminent domain proceeding, I would not, if you had the option of constructing a recreation area that is clearly defined as a permitted use, that would be a safer way to proceed, rather than incurring the cost of an eminent domain proceeding and then having the court tell you, well, you know, these statutes are strictly construed, and it doesn't say parking is allowed, so therefore, you know, there's that risk that that could happen. The court could say, no, we're not going to allow that as an eminent domain purpose. So rather than risk that outcome, I would pick a use for that lot that is clearly permitted under the eminent domain code by putting in a children's play area. Playground is a specifically permitted use. So I would think that would be a better option for the council, be safer, a safer way to invest your money in the eminent domain process.
Whether we need another parking or another playground or not.
That too. Okay.
Recreation
About
place.
7.
Again, the last thing I'll say is, and to kind of piggyback with Mike said, I don't like erasing history. Wilmots is essentially one of the last, like, real pieces of New Freedom history that we have. Dates. Back many years.
The problem is that the walls are about to fall into the creek, which is going to be
100%.
then a DEP violation, which someone's going to have to clean that up. I mean, the whole thing is just a hazard.
Yes.
And as
100% agreed.
and as distasteful as I find eminent domain,
Agreed.
I personally don't think that there is a better choice.
When was the last time an offer was made to him?
Middle of last year.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
May, that was the meeting that we were talking about.
And
What was the offer?
how much is offered, you know?
I don't have it with me, but.
I can get that information, give me a minute. I do have
You do have the
my file
other,
on my computer here.
here's the other option that Walt laid out.
But just keep filing charges, filing violations.
The violations, do some work on it, and then proceed that way as he explained.
But the end result of everything that Walt said is still we end up owning a building and we have to do something with it. whether we do it by eminent domain or we do it by, fining him into poverty.
Let me ask you this, then, if we take ownership of it and then something happens, somebody goes in and gets hurt, are we then liable?
Or it falls down.
Or it falls down, then it becomes, well, I guess then there's still grant money for cleanup.
Right.
But if in any way, shape, or form, we have ownership of it, even if it's for a week or 5 days, whatever, something happens, then our name is on it.
Well, I think what happens is if we take possession of the building, the first thing we do is we hire somebody to go in and secure everything better than it's been secured now, because people are like prying wood off and, maybe
they're gonna
with
do that
steel
again.
plates or whatever we have to do to make sure that it's secure and that kids can't get in. But yeah, you're right. I mean, anything has a liability to it. I mean, even if you start fining him under the property maintenance agreement, at some point, the fines are gonna be in excess, you're gonna have a sheriff's sale, we're gonna take possession of the building, and then now that starts your week or 2 weeks of whatever, so.
Okay.
I mean, it's always gonna be, we could put a fence up around, I mean, you have to take reasonable precautions, but right now, we have an eyesore, a health hazard, a safety hazard for children. I mean, it's just not a good situation.
We have a county and we have legislators that are backing us, that look at this and say, why don't you do something? We have to do something with that building.
And right now, we have
eyesore and a danger.
legislators that are in office. So we have the opportunity now to, they said that they would help us, so let's let them and.
Walt, did you get that number yet?
For the purchase offer to Ripon,
Correct.
$15,000.
Okay. So,
I think
you
that's
offered
correct.
15, and then he thought 300.
Yeah, and keep in mind that the building appraised at like a
Negative.
negative 85,000 or
Yeah.
75, I can't remember what the number was,
Right.
but, I mean, it's like if you buy this building, you just bought a huge liability.
Did the offer came post legal suit?
Yes.
Yes.
So holding them accountable and levying those fines at least gets the ball rolling versus doing nothing. It's more palatable than eminent domain.
How can you put money into a property that you don't own?
I'm sorry?
How can
I
you put
wondered
money?
that too. How can you what?
How can you put money into a property that you don't own?
Well, under the property maintenance agreement, let's say your house has a huge hole in it and it's gonna fall down. And we send you a notice under the property maintenance agreement and we say, you need to fix this wall. And you just say, I'm not going to, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, whatever. Then the borough could then go in, fix the wall and put a lien against your house because you violated the property maintenance agreement. So that's,
What happens if he pays the lien?
If he pays the lien, then we're right back to where we started from. That's my point. I mean, do we
And he
really
keeps
want to go through this cycle? And
Said
as
you fix
Kim,
something else.
as Kim said, if what happens if someone else buys it? They say, well, this is a huge property. I might as well buy it. I'm only going to pay $20,000 for it, or $25,000, and then we're right back where we started from, and they're going to sit there with this property for years and not do anything. Does anyone have anything new to say?
As Walt said, to be proactive and follow the property maintenance code.
Well, I would think that Ripon already has a tremendous liability on that place. His insurance has to be crazy right now.
I bet it's uninsured.
Or
If he even
non-existent?
has.
100% it's uninsured.
Yeah,
Well, 90.
yeah. I mean, he might not have any insurance on it at all.
I mean, those steel plates go into the building next door, and he's ruined, so.
Well, he's not ruined because it's probably in an LLC that has no money in it.
Yep.
That would be my guess. I mean, I can't imagine that him or his wife are personally holding the property.
That is another question. is the building, the property in his name, or is it under a corporate name?
Well, do we know
That's
that?
real easy to, he can look that up in 2 seconds flat, Andrew can. He's
Yeah,
got the map.
it was appraised, by the way, at negative $71,000.
That was close.
And according to the appraisal, it was in his name first.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep, James Griffin.
Okay.
It
Okay.
wasn't a joint name, so it wasn't in with his wife, it was just him.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have any money. It's probably all in his wife's name. I mean, he's protected somehow. He's
When was that appraisal?
huh?
When was that last
Negative
appraisal?
71,000, it was in May of 2025.
All of it, okay.
Well, I'm going to draw this to a close.
I'm sorry, it's dated April 8th, 2025.
Okay. So I have,
We have a motion on the floor, though.
I'm getting there. We have a motion and a second to start eminent domain proceedings, which I assume would include searching out grant money for blighted property and to tear it down. So that's what the motion is to start eminent domain proceedings, which would require a resolution, which could be drafted by Andrew and reviewed by Walt, or whatever needs to be done. So, all in favor?
My vote is aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No,
No.
Okay, my vote is aye, but the motion did not carry. Okay. SPCA. Yeah, can you?
There's a letter included in your packet with a request presented to Borough Council during the February 9th council meeting in regard to the York County SPCA 2026 Animal Housing Agreement. You recall that was voted basically to not participate in that as part of the 2026 budget. So that request is in your packet and up for your consideration.
I think we turned it down once. I don't, unless someone wants, yeah, does someone want to bring it up, make a motion to consider?
No.
Okay, hearing no motion to consider, our original decision stands. New business, Phase 1 aeration upgrades. Consider approval of application for payment number 9 in the amount of $555,944.40 to PSI Pumping Solutions. I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion and we'll pay that.
Have a motion.
Second?
second.
Have a motion in 2 seconds. Is there any discussion or questions?
How many more payments is it? Do you know, Andrew, or?
Well, they're currently on hold. They're doing a little bit of work over the winter, but they're paused. So, I mean, the balance to finish is over $2 million. So it all depends on how they take off and get some work done in the spring. The large balance that remains has a lot to do with the tank lining. I believe that tank lining is close to half of that cost. So the rest would just be making those final connections and getting some of that other equipment in. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see payment applications throughout the next year. There might be a break here and there monthly, but for the most part, I would expect to see one monthly.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Consider approval and resolution appointing and reaffirming planning commission appointments. You don't need any new ones, right? We're good?
Yeah, the only one was Matt Hopkins, and his term expired at the end of '25. He indicated that he would like to renew, so bumped him up for another 4-year term.
Doesn't somebody fall into the 27? Is it every other year?
It's every 2 years.
This has all been straightened out, so
Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion?
We approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
My vote is aye. Okay, resolution affirming appointments to Southern York County Regional Recreation Commission. I would need a motion for filling the empty slot, which is a term through December of 28.
Make a motion for Janelle.
Second.
I have a motion, a second for Janelle to fill the empty slot. It would be Janelle, Andy McCauley, Ryan Ross, and Carrie Bador. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Vote is aye.
I think we should do the one for the resolution. I don't believe your motion was to include the resolution, right? Your motion.
No, that's correct. Mine
Yeah,
was just
Oh, I'm
for the.
sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. Okay, so that was for Janelle, and that motion carried. And then resolution 2026 for Rec Commission members Janelle, Andy, Ryan, and Carrie. I would need a motion.
Make a motion for the approval of the 4 individuals listed.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
I just want to say, we've had a lot of great people come forward. We had a great volunteer rec. We obviously have great people that want to serve, and I'm still at a position where this could be a volunteer rec like we had it, and not assuming the long-term liability costs of having a rec director.
Yeah, that's totally out of order. I mean, we've already voted to have a paid rec commission. It lasts for 4 years with grant money to cover the rec director. We've just hired a new rec director, and I wish the rec board Godspeed. And
I'm out of order?
yes, you are. And that's not the motion, that's not the discussion.
No,
This is a sideline of the whole thing.
No, it's about the rec, and I'm just putting it out there, my feelings on the rec. I'm not against them, it's not personal, it's having this not be a volunteer rec like we had it. That was my comment, and I don't believe I was out of order.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
My vote is aye. Okay, resolution affirming appointing to the New Freedom Borough Zoning Hearing Board, Stephen DeVillis, Charles Endress, William Taylor, and Daniel Gahagan. Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? My vote is aye. Okay, resolution 2026 for affirming appointments to the New Freedom Borough Property Maintenance Code Board of Appeals. What?
Yeah, it's just
We're-
reviewing those, yeah, and there's no,
Conflict with council?
correct, it just says that they should be residents and not employees.
Okay.
That's in the property maintenance code.
Okay. So we have Jenny Nugenbauer, Michael Worden.
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 No.
Worden.
Worden.
It's worded. Worded.
Doug Brent, Dave Moister, and Melissa Schaefer are the two alternates. I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion for the approval of the 5 members listed.
I'll second. Can
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? My vote is aye. Resolution authorizing this is for the fire company, the fire police.
So I did receive word back from the fire police that this exhibit does not include any events in Jacobus. So it's up to council tonight. You can approve it and then we can amend it in the future, or we can figure out what, I was not able to obtain a list of those events from the fire police that they're involved with to help Jacobus, but
Is there a reason, it's just an oversight?
it hasn't included those in the past, so it was not included for 26.
So they're just casting a wider net and trying to help out more communities?
Yeah, and again, this doesn't give them, this doesn't tell them they have to go to those events.
Yeah,
It's
just
just saying
approve.
you have permission as part
Yeah,
of
no,
the
that's-
borough's.
You're covered under workers'
Yeah.
comp to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I got that. What would be the best way to
Go about that, once you get a list.
I don't believe there's anything on here that would impact over the next month or so that they wouldn't be able to participate in. So if you'd like to, we can table this, or council can table this, and we can button that up and figure out what events they would like to participate in Jacobus Fire Company.
Yeah, I had a question about all this too. So in terms of the fire department, it said, the other day I read it, I'm fighting it, that the fire department can take part in funerals within New Freedom, but I didn't see anything outside of New Freedom. I was wondering, what if they were to put, say, a fallen officer, they use the ladder to display a flag in Shrewsbury Township. So should we mention that so that we're covered in case, God forbid, say the flag fell off and hit a car and the car crashed or something? Does that come into play here if it's not mentioned on this?
This is mostly workman's comp.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the same, it could be a similar scenario. You know, anything like what you're saying would be their liability insurance. If it with one of the firefighters was injured, if they were have to be injured if the flag fell, then that would become workers' comp.
I'm just wondering, like, I'm a lawyer and I have a victim and I go into our borough rules and I see that, oh, I don't see anything that says the fire department is allowed to be a part of funerals in Shrewsbury Township, and yet you were. Does that leave us open?
That's a good point.
Sorry, I'm sick, so I'm stuffy here.
Yeah, you want to table it and cover those, check on that issue and Jacobus.
Yeah, unless anybody has anything else.
Anything else on the, so we'll wait until next meeting. Okay, administrative reports. Solicitor?
Yes, good evening, and thank you for letting me participate again by phone. I do believe this will be the last time I will need to do that. I expect to be able to be in person for all future meetings, so that's a relief. We did give the final notice of the taking in the LT area and the main matter, so all of the notices have now been served. As you know, I did some research on the eminent domain for the 1 East Franklin Street. We're able to take advantage of some of that research this evening. The Mark Tomey matter, I've prepared answers to discovery. I'll be getting that to Manager Schaefer for his approval. There has been no activity in the Devin Taylor federal lawsuit. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And good to hear that you're recovering and you'll be back.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Manager?
I don't have have anything additional.
President, I'm just gonna make a quick statement. I wanna let Erica and Denny know that I mean, I respect your right to not agree with recreation, but it is something that we voted on to do. And I think that Ryan and I both went to our previous recreation and offered them financial support and encouraged them to come up with programs that would be more inclusive to children and people of all ages. And never did they come back and ask, and I did it more than once. And I offered also to fund concerts, and never did they come and ask and say, yes, we'll take some money to have concerts. So while I don't want to ping on people who are no longer here, I do want to say that the purpose of having a recreation director is what this lady Janelle just said, is to have recreation for all abilities, all ages. You know, if someone like me wants to have a recreation program who can't run or who can't get around too good, then our recreation will consider those programs. So that's why we have a rec director, and we found a grant to do that. And hopefully it'll be a success. And hopefully in the next couple, 3 years, everybody will say, you know, as an example, I don't know if Ryan's gonna bring it up tonight, but we have a program. You're gonna talk about the program that sold out and then sold out again and then sold. Okay, I'll wait, I'll let you talk about that. But I just ask that you give it a chance. Just give it a chance and see what happens. We're already funded it, it's already in place. Mr. Mayor.
In reference to what we just discussed with the resolution for the fire police and the fire company, I think what you had asked is covered, Michael, under the section 4.1, engage in any type of drill, training, ceremony, parade, within or outside, school functions, funeral services, picnics, events, not limited to the Borough of New Freedom. I think it covers everything but what the Jefferson situation. I don't know, I didn't really get a chance to look at all of them. Do we have anything coming up before our next meeting that would need attention?
So this
Looks
month.
like the next thing is fireworks for Shrewsbury, right?
I don't know.
No, I don't see anything here, but I think like raising a flag, that's part of a funeral procession ceremony outside of our jurisdiction. I know they can always come to us spur of the moment and ask for extensions on other things, just like we're talking about Jefferson now. But it's something we've never had a real problem with in the past. I'll hold off, I think, my other than to say I'm very disappointed that we can't come to some kind of a solution. Not even a solution, a suggestion. We said we don't want to take this by eminent domain. Well, nobody came up with anything as an alternative. Something has to be done for the health, safety, welfare of the residents of this borough before somebody is injured, before kids fall off the roof of that before the whole building falls down. We have EPA, we're gonna have everybody on our case because
Kim,
we didn't
we've
do
already,
anything.
we've already gone through that.
I know, and I have the floor as under the mayor's,
Not to be repetitious,
I have the floor to do whatever the hell I wanna do right now.
well, I think you're incorrect at that, but Erica suggested that we proceed with the property maintenance violations, and I think that that's probably what
Tilly
I...
did.
Well,
Tilly
yeah, but
laid
we,
it
Walt,
out.
Nobody voted to go that
Walt-
direction or amend it.
Right, Walt Tilly actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, Walt, but I think Walt was trying to find a way for us to get past the objection of the eminent domain. I don't think that he disagrees with using eminent domain. I think he's just trying to find a different way to get there because the council doesn't want to use eminent domain. Am I correct?
I was just trying, yes, that's right, I was trying to give you options, eminent domain is an option, property maintenance code is an option. I'm trying to think of as many different ways that we can work to solve that problem. And just because the motion didn't pass tonight, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna try to think of something constructive to bring to council, so that you have a path forward. I'm aware that we have this building and that something should be done, and we just haven't found the right solution yet. So I'm gonna try to think of other ways we could do it and bring ideas to Manager Schaefer, to Mr. Portner, and to any others that are appropriate in the borough to see if there's a path forward for you folks.
Can I ask that be put on the agenda again for next?
That's what I was gonna suggest. Why don't we leave the 1 East Franklin Street further action on the agenda for next month? And let Walt come forward with some solid ideas.
Does that need to be motioned?
Sorry?
Does that need a motion?
I don't think so.
No,
no.
anybody.
It can just stay on the agenda.
I don't think I have anything else until I get to EMS and fire. For Matt, under the manager's report, are we gonna, well, I'll wait for code enforcement. Go ahead, I'm done.
Erica, Southern Regional.
Yeah, New Freedom was over on their hours for last year by about 105, and that was due to the swatting incidences that were in Shrewsbury. It involves a New Freedom resident. So we were kind of the hub of that investigation, which has taken a lot of time in several states. The Toys for Tot box that was out here in the foyer was a huge success. That was filled. The Shepherd's Fund I reported on has approximately $1,800 in it, and it's been used 2 times so far, so it's a great asset to our community that is in need. A $3,000 electric bike was stolen from Stewartstown Borough, and they are moving forward in the resolution to that. You all have the Canine Report, year in review. It is great to have Ransom as an asset. He has done amazing work over this past year in helping recover firearms and get drugs off of our streets. Walmart donated a laptop to the department that they're able to use for court, Zoom hearings, a variety of things, so that was very much appreciated. There are a few officers that will need to be taking time off here in the next 12 to 15 weeks, and we are looking at a lot of overtime to be covered. So the Finance Committee is looking at possibly moving up the new hire that was supposed to come and moving it up to March or even sooner, and also exploring Officer Hornberger was a part-time officer. We're exploring having a part-time officer come back that will not require any insurance and those other things that a full-time officer would, to lessen the impact of overtime, because that can become quite costly.
The 3 officers are out because of sick leave.
Vacation, there were some officers due to this and other things going on that were not able to use their vacation time, so the commission extended that they could have the ability to use that until August 31st of this year, so that is not lost, and they are great for staggering that and taking it as needed. The pension is up, so that is a great thing, and Engelbert is going to be coming next month, the February meeting, at 6 p.m. to give a performance report. So that was a great move to move from PRS to Engelbert. Brian, Andy?
They're actually at 9%, which is really, even in the market, the way the market's been going up, 9% is pretty phenomenal. So it does appear to be a really good move.
It was a great move. Brian, Andy, and myself are the new outreach committee, and we're going to be looking at other municipalities to either contract services or become a member. And that's all.
Quick question about the flock cameras. Are they solely owned and controlled by Southern Regional?
Yes.
And that information is then shared with Pennsylvania State Police, Walden County, or whatever?
If they contact us and say, we're looking for this, our officers will go and they'll look at the cameras and assist them that way.
Okay.
They don't have access to it.
Okay.
And I think there are stationary cameras around too that.
They're
they
only
prefer
stationary.
Not to disclose their
They're not
whereabouts.
moving on cars.
They're on websites, there's whole websites associated with the identification of those cameras. I agree with them in principle, but I worry about them being a third-party entity, but that's a conversation for another day.
Been a huge asset since they,
No, I agree. Yeah,
a lot of crime has been solved and prevented. I would say, very much prevented.
Our cars, our vehicles aren't equipped with them?
No, they're stationary, they do not move.
Okay, because I know the other areas, all their cars have the flock cameras on. I know, because I was 2 days out from having my registration renewed, and apparently a Springersbury police officer automatically saw my license plate, registered out of, that my car wasn't registered, and I got pulled over. I mean, I was surprised. I said, how do you know? Because, you used to be the sticker. And it automatically pulled it up. I know it's expensive, but.
Has our flock ever been compromised as far as? Because I know there was an online debate about that last week. Concerns about the flock and its information.
Yeah.
Come to meetings, they could be educated.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the flock. I think it's really
Yeah, it's a great tool, it really is. And, I mean, someone can take a picture with their phone, so it's, you pretty much have to realize that you're always going to be under observation. I'm going to bring one quick thing up that happened at the meeting. Shrewsbury Borough made the statement, which is a true statement, that we're all approaching a large percentage of our general fund budget to pay for the police. We're actually getting, I think we're about 33%. I think Shrewsbury Borough is close to that. And Brian basically said that Shrewsbury Borough Council has discussed it, and they can't get to the point where they're paying $1 million for the police. So we're looking at other things. The outreach committee that Erica mentioned is one way of trying to get more people in, even if we just sell contract services. So we're really looking at that. There's other things to look at, such as possibly restructuring into teams for the police instead of having it the way it is now. We would always have 2 officers on duty, and they would be teams of 3, and they would rotate through shifts. So I just wanted to mention that we realize that, you know, going up 10% a year is not a viable alternative, and that we're looking at ways to try to make that better.
Are we ever provided more detailed financials or just the surface, like high level?
I asked, I mean, we could get whatever we want. I mean, the problem with this year is that the budget was pushed out so far because of the transition with accountants. And, but yes, I have a copy of the budget, and I haven't printed it off yet. I've just looked at it online, and I was kind of waiting to make sure that this was going to be the final, but we definitely can print it off and pass it around to our council as well.
Generally, Chief has that in his emails to you, wasn't the financials in the email?
Well, I think the question was on the budget, not necessarily the financial.
But monthly, you want to see monthly, what's being
I
spent?
mean, I would just like to see the breakdown of this, other than just what our portions are, like how we got
Yeah,
here.
we usually have that, don't we?
Well, but you didn't approve the financials the other night because there was an issue with the financials,
That's
therefore we
true.
don't have the financials.
Right.
Oh,
Oh, I see.
You'll see those financials, and it'll show what the year is budgeted and where you are at in the year.
Gotcha. So after
There was
the
some
transition,
issues.
they'll look, okay. Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Erica. Engineering report, is there anything that needs pointed out? Okay. Water system? Anything that needs pointed out? Wastewater? We discussed the payment and the work that's going on.
Remind me when our York Water contract is up?
For York?
28. We need to discuss that in 26 because the notice has to be 2 years before the expiration.
Thought about it, Michelle?
It's my understanding some neighboring municipalities have gotten hit with a substantial increase this year on water.
Yeah.
Is there a certain date in 26 they have to be notified, or is it between now and December they have to be notified?
I need to look at the actual renewal date and see when that is, and check that verbiage, or check that language again.
We can send it early, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we just,
We'll put it on the agenda.
agenda for next month, yeah, just send it early.
do we have an idea what Stewartstown, didn't Stewartstown just go up? And their residents are
30%?
in an outcry about their billing, their bills.
Are these strictly York Water?
They are strictly York Water.
I thought they had-
No.
I was gonna say, I thought they had their own, but
Yeah.
Well-
similar contract.
Are you sure? Because I know people that live there and they're getting their,
I don't know.
Well, how
no,
about?
no, no, I'm asking. I was told that they're all York Water.
No.
But they utilize additional York Water, am I correct?
They utilize York Water like we do.
Well, but we don't know how many gallons they have to use.
Andrew, for next month, would you mind finding out what Stewartstown does and their gallons and everything else?
Sure.
Just for-
30% anyhow, if you know it's 30%, that's a lot.
Okay, zoning and code enforcement?
I need to see it like before, at least code enforcement.
I would like to see that also.
Yeah.
Do what, when, where?
We went past Second Street property, and it looks really, really good. I mean, not 100%, but compared to what it was, it looks,
Actually spoke to the property owner today.
You were on Washington Road. Can you say worse to the nth degree?
awkward.
In
Yeah.
court, I,
Can't even see the ground, there are so many vehicles in the yard
You know,
and the front of the house. If I that was that neighbor on either side.
It's really,
Oh my.
Well, is there anything we can do that, I mean, we're already in court waiting on discovery on that.
Right, the next step will be the answers to the discovery, which I have completed, and you'll get those tomorrow. And then after that, we should be able to listen for a hearing with the judge and get an order on that.
In the meantime, are we permitted to continue to send him violation notices?
Yes.
Okay. so
well,
that-
well, if he's parked illegally in his yard, why can't we just ticket it and tow it?
You can enforce the property maintenance code, and so you have to follow the procedures in the property maintenance code in order to remove vehicles and so forth. And that's what he has been convicted once, and that's what he has appealed. So that's side of the enforcement at this point.
I would have to say it's a fire code violation. I mean, if there was a fire in the house, the fire company couldn't even get in the yard. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Yep, no, I understand what you're saying, and I share your frustration. But I think the ultimate solution is going to be what we have initiated in the court with the appeal that Toby has taken.
Hurry up and wait.
Unfortunately, but I'm hoping that the wait will be shorter and the hurry up will be faster.
Okay, we'll be patient, a couple years.
Yeah.
We can't send enforcement notices on something that's currently in.
That's what I wonder.
Oh, I think we can I think we could start a criminal enforcement action against you if you wanted to, yes. And I can work with you on that if you would like, if you wanted to start another action. I can work.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how you can find somebody for doing something that they're already appealing.
Well, because he's appealed a civil action, what I'm saying is, well, we could start as a criminal action.
Ah,
Yeah,
She said you could do that.
yeah, I think we should do that.
yeah.
Okay, I'll work with the manager to make sure that that happens. I'll be happy to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Recreation.
Unfortunately, Rachel's not able to stick around long enough today. The new rec director was here. Very nice, has some events already on the calendar. As Andy was saying earlier, there's a Nerf event for some kids that was set up, filled up in 2-3 days. They scheduled another one. That one was also filled, and I think it's still just the 2 events right now.
Well, it's just opening up more spots for that.
Oh, for that?
Those sessions.
Okay, I thought I misunderstood her. I thought she said they scheduled a second event. Has a lot of great ideas we've talked about. Our next meeting is right here in New Freedom at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Okay. Does anyone have anything for committee reports?
I would like to see something added. We've talked about this for 4 years. NIMS training. I know some council members have started in on it. We have 2 new people here. We have to become NIMS compliant. And whether that is in a group setting, everybody bring their laptops, do it here, do it individually. However, I think it should be put on here because I forget it for a couple of months. Oh yeah, gotta check. We need to have it on here until the council is NIMS compliant.
I agree. I've been lax myself. I got halfway through and then got sidetracked, so you're right.
Holidays are over, where council is set for the next 2 years, so no time and better.
I agree.
than now.
Kim, you had,
Set up a date or whatever. They want to
Yeah,
come and use this screen, you know, they can all watch all the slides together, and then you have your individual laptops, and they're able to independently answer the questions.
Yeah, but every test is different, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Are you gonna copy somebody else's, Kim?
No, no, no. You can't watch it on the screen and then have, that shows different questions than,
I guess you have to be logged
you
in,
would get,
right?
yeah, you would get different questions than Ryan would.
Well, how
No,
much
it's-
do you have
So you have to do it on your own.
I'm not
I think
sure.
she means the practice stuff, they give
Well, if you
you.
want to practice it and go over, yeah, you can't take
However
the
you
test.
decide to do it.
What does that stand for?
National Incident Management.
Management.
I have
Service
completed
system.
all my NINs and I have all my certificates.
Right on.
If anyone needs a copy.
Did you mess up like me and did 4 classes
I
instead of the
did
2?
many more than I needed to, but you know what? I did them.
For you.
Good, so we have 2 complete
Did you do yours?
NIMS.
Okay.
Wonderful.
It's hard to find stuff, though. Site to navigate.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as the weekly reports that I've been putting out, if you notice, Savvy Citizen now is a third-party approved vendor with FEMA to use the iPulse system, and that system is the system that is utilized in the event of a dire emergency, natural disaster, missing person, similar to an Amber Alert. They're very restrictive as far as what can be sent on that system. So I went through, did the training, the certification through IS 247, had the borough registered, went through the whole process, and today I received a call from York County Emergency Management indicating that PEMA, Pennsylvania Emergency Management, reached out to them stating that they want authority to send those type of notifications to stop at the county level. They do not want municipalities sending those notifications out. So unfortunately, that was down a little bit of a rabbit hole. We still obviously have the ability to send emergency notifications through Savvy Citizens, but we don't, or Savvy Citizen, but we don't have the ability to geofence and target all mobile devices or all devices within a certain area to receive a certain notification. If we would like to do that, we can contact York County Office of Emergency Management, and they said they can turn around the notification in 10 to 15 minutes.
24/7.
24/7.
Yes.
So it's really not a loss. We're just not able to do it internally. We need to make another call in order for that to happen. The chance that we need to actually utilize that system is very rare. It could happen though.
And
Yeah.
they could turn you down when the boy was missing
Yeah.
at the campground.
They
They
did.
wanted that done, and they said no.
Yeah.
We requested that
So-
they do that.
I know Stewartstown has, the red line or whatever they call it, but they're able to send notifications out through their phone. And I don't know how they do it.
Is that called one call?
It's a red, yep, I lost it. But that's a reverse 911, basically. So they're keeping a database of all the numbers of their residents. Very similar to Savvy Citizen, only it's, Savvy Citizen is much more user-friendly and much more cost-effective. When you get into the reverse 911 systems, a lot of times you have an annual subscription, and then every time you utilize that, you've got a per call cost that goes out. So it might be a couple pennies, but when you're talking about that much, it's quite substantial. So I think we have the ability to notify people, Savvy Citizen website, and then if we do need it, you are correct, it could be denied, but because of the extent, and it has to meet their guidelines, but we still have that tool to utilize.
Why did
It'd
they
be worse
deny
than a
it?
missing child.
Why did they deny it?
I don't have that information. It might have to be a certain period of time, I don't know.
My kid
That
felt
went
it was
hours.
too long, yeah.
We requested it.
Hours, I mean, even minutes can matter.
Don't know the answer to that, but unfortunately, I thought we were going to be able to have that, but
And that was even state police involved in that. I mean, it wasn't like it was just our local, and they refused.
It's kind of sad.
but I have that certification now along with all the hymns, so everybody.
You gotta get certified for something you can't do. But
Thanks.
Okay.
Are we still
Yes.
on zoning and code enforcement?
No, passed that a long time ago.
Okay.
But you're on your EMS and fire committee if you want.
All right. I think you all got this. I got it late. I requested it last month. Take a look if you have any questions. It kind of reiterates what Chief brings up to you, but this is our annual 2025 responses for EMS. All 2,226 of them. A complete breakdown. I really appreciate their ability to do this. It's a matter of plugging in some numbers, and they do that every month. I get a report every month. I don't share it with you because I feel that, with all of you, because I feel it's kind of a HIPAA violation because it puts addresses and different, exactly what that particular person's going through, but it gives you numbers. If anybody has any questions, go over this. I know it was short notice. Give me a call, an email. I'd be happy to go over it, explain some of these if you have any questions. They're doing a great job. Another thing that I think is very important, there was some concern from the fire company and EMS that once we initiated a fire tax, people would not want to donate. I commend our citizens for continuing to donate. As of now, they have donated in excess of $7,000 more than last year or the previous year when we did not have a fire tax. So I think people realize the importance of supporting our EMS community. And I thank them very much for doing so.
On the York Fire page, I know you say people's information, it comes out what the call's for, cardiac arrest, car accident, it comes out with their address, it comes out with their age, and it comes out with their gender. So all that's public information on the York Fire page, so, you know, it's out there.
Not all of it is out.
Everything I just said, you can look.
Everything she said is on there.
Everything.
But you don't know everything that I get, and I'm
No,
not
I'm
willing to
saying
put that
everything's
information out.
There,
Okay?
you know, the things that you said.
If you know where to get that information, but I have other information besides.
Well, I don't need that other information, I'm just saying that that is public, it comes out.
Anything else?
We're having a sewer meeting next month. Thank you, Andrew, for facilitating that. And I did send an email late today. Mike and I would like to tour the water treatment facility. So if anyone's interested in that, we can.
wastewater?
Wastewater, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Able to see what we talk about.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
business. We're gonna have a short executive session.
We doing the last public comment first?
I'm sorry, you're right.
This is very quick. I'm Jean Soiki, and I live on 7 West Main Street, in the midst of all the traffic. And when you were talking about the Franklin Street property, I know you're going to revisit that. So I just had an idea I wanted to throw out. Mr. Tilley, could we consider a parking lot with meters that would generate revenue for the borough? Is that an option to consider? And I'm just throwing it out there. What do you think about it?
Now, I don't know, Walt, did you hear what?
He just sent me a message that he dropped the call, so.
I'll kind of answer that for you if you like. Parking seems to be a no-no for that kind of a taking because it benefits businesses. So like, let's say you own a business on Franklin Street and let's say you own 7. And you came to council or you came to your buddy Andy Bobby and said, hey, you know, if you put a parking lot right there, that'd be really cool. So that's why parking lots are not normally.
That's why I thought if we had the meter that is generating revenue for the borough, if that might change.
Yeah, it's still it's just not on the list. It's a very short list of things, and parks are allowed, waterways, different things like that. If we wanted to build a bridge, if we needed to build a bridge, that would be allowed. We don't need to. But.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's a good thought. But
I'll think of some other ideas. We can get parking in.
okay. I would entertain a motion to. Do we want to adjourn into an executive session, and then announce the executive session at the next meeting?
Well, you can announce that you're going into executive session if you're not planning on taking any
Right.
action.
We won't be taking any action.
So you're going to adjourn to the executive session.
Yes.
And the purpose.
And the purpose is safety of council and citizens.
Making a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Night. Thank you. Okay. Okay. We're gonna have a short executive session. Yeah. Do you have your keys?
Yes.
Do I? No. Good.